guys, welcome back to Praxis. As I shared last week, if you missed it, go back and watch, in fact, the last 2 weeks, because we're slowing things down a bit. And instead of kind of going through a new practice from the life of Jesus each week, we're kind of going through one a month or so, and we're unpacking it in a bit more detail from different angles, helping us to kind of engage in it and try it out a bit more fully before we kind of race ahead to the next practice. And so this week is Worship 4.2. So it builds upon what I've shared the last couple of weeks, so check them out if you haven't already. But I want to look today at how we worship God with our minds and how we might practice that in our kind of daily lives. The Bible talks about worship in lots of ways, but worship is something that we bring a whole of ourselves to. It's not something we bring just a bit of ourselves to, or some bits more than others. It's what we bring the whole of ourselves to. And our minds are very much part of that. The greatest commandment is love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so we want to worship God with our minds, with our intellects. And I want to just share 2 ways in which I think we could do that at the moment and kind of grow in worshipping God with our minds. The first is study. It's looking into a bit more the truths of who God is and intellectually kind of wrestling with them. And I think one of the best ways we can do this is by reading, be that a blog or be that a book. Just reading and just thinking about a bit of the scriptures or aspect of who God is, and just allowing someone else's views on that to kind of stretch and broaden our existing understanding. It can be easy, I think, to just kind of know what we know about God, know what we know about the scriptures, and just kind of carry on. But when we do that, we kind of hold our intellects back from God. And actually, we need to actively engage in allowing him to stimulate and grow what we think about him. And I think one of the best ways we do that is through reading. And so maybe, this week you could grab that Christian book that's sat on your bookshelf for years but you've not touched, and you've got a bit more time in the evenings now. Grab that book, read it, and wrestle with what it has to say and allow it to broaden and stretch your understanding of who God is. I think it's really important that we remember that our understanding of who God is exactly that and no more. It's our understanding. It's not who God is. God is bigger than our understanding of him. And actually, it's really important that we allow ourselves to kind of intellectually have our understanding of him stretched so that we kind of might come to know him more. If we love him, we want to get to know him more. If you love someone, you want to get to know them more. And so it's important that we have our understanding of who he is stretched so we become more aware of the truth of who he is. So first of all, study and reading. Try that one out this week. Another one some other people might want to try is what I call holy pondering. I don't know if you've ever had those moments where it's nighttime, you're outside, it's a cloudless night, and you look up into the night sky and you just gaze and you start thinking, oh my gosh, how many stars are there? And I wonder how far that star is. And as you start to think those thoughts, and eventually your mind starts to hurt because you just see more and more stars, and you just become almost a little bit overwhelmed by the number of stars that are up there. It's like, oh my gosh. That's kind of what we do when we ponder upon something, and we can ponder upon who God is. Maybe the next time you're reading the Bible and something about God that you kind of like, oh, what's that about? I don't understand that, or that's different, or wow, that's big. Just pause, just stop and just ponder it for a while. Maybe you want to intentionally take an aspect of God's character, his grace, his love, his power, his might, his splendor, his glory, his mercy, something about who God is, and to just literally think about it for a minute or so. Just ponder it. Just allow your mind to be, boggled and stretched as you dwell upon it. A bit like looking into the night sky. Just allow yourself to be amazed by it. And you'll probably, if you do this for long enough, reach a point where your brain starts to hurt a bit and you can't get your head around it. When you've reached that point, good. I think when we worship God with our minds in that way, and we reach the point of, oh my gosh, I can't understand this, it's a good thing because it allows God to remind us that we can't fully get our heads around him. We can never fully understand God because he's God, he's holy, he's other. But actually when we do that, our kind of minds are stretched. We realise that he's God and we're not, and we worship him, and we're moved to worship as our minds just kind of go, ooh, wow. And so maybe try those two ways this week in worshipping God with your minds. Maybe grab that book, read and allow your understanding to be stretched, and maybe just as things come up in the scriptures, or maybe intentionally take an aspect of who God is and just ponder it for maybe a minute, and just allow yourself to be wowed by the glory of how amazing our God is.